Today is week 7's video. So in this week's reflective video, I want to discuss an instance where I recognize deficiency in a cultural competency during a patient encounter, how I managed situations, and the steps I took to improve my cultural awareness for the future reactions. So I want to talk about the recent patient interaction that I had. That was a 58-year-old African-American woman who was experiencing symptoms of depression. During our initial sessions, I noted a disconnect between us, particularly when discussing her treatment plan. She seemed hesitant and engaging, and the therapeutic process, I initially attributed this to her resistance to treatment, but sometimes it happens because I have read before that sometimes, like, if you're not black and the person is African American, they're not gonna feel that connection, and they're not gonna feel like wanting to talk to you and expressing themselves. So they're gonna be guarded against you because you're either white or Hispanic, and they don't feel that connection towards you. So sometimes when you're African American or the same culture as that other person, the person feels more of a connection towards you and they feel like expressing themselves. So for this patient encounter, since I am Hispanic and she was African American, she didn't feel that connection towards me. Recognizing the cultural gap, as our session continued, I realized my approach didn't fully consider the cultural context of her experience. I had overlooked the importance for cultural factors such as her strong faith in the role and played in her mental health. I had assumed that she was reluctant to engaging, that I was a sign of her not being not compliant, without understanding her cultural background influence how she perceived and addressed mental issues. And that sometimes when we as providers have to set limits and put our feelings on the side and put the patient first. So handling the situation, I became aware of this gap. I took a step back and I reassessed my approach. I opened up about the conversation about her beliefs and how might impact her treatment. This allowed her to share her perspective and helped me understand that she was more comfortable integrating her faith into her mental health care. I began to incorporate discussions about how her spiritual practices could complement her treatment plan, which helped her become more engaged in the process. And something that I have always done as a medical professional, now I'm going to be a second people to being a mental health nurse and being in the medical field for about 10 years. I always told myself, like, in order for the patient to trust me, I have to make him feel comfortable. So I feel like that's something that I have to continue taking with me for the rest of my career. Always making the patient feel comfortable, feel right, feel like everything's gonna be okay, because they're coming to us for help and to get cured and to get help and to stop hearing those voices, to start to feel happier. So I want to correct the error and address this gap in my cultural competence. I sought additional resources to better understand the intersection for cultural and mental health, particularly with African American communities. I attended a workshop. I feel like the more we feed our brain and the more we learn about other cultures, I always tend to do that. So I like to do CEUs, read articles and things to learn more about other communities. So as a future psych and key, I recognize that it's important to continually learn and improve the area of cultural competency. Moving forward, I plan to regularly engage in professional development opportunities, and I want to focus on learning more and more about different cultures. I mean, African American culture is not that hard, but there's other cultures that have more cultural things that they do and things that they don't do. So that I do have to do more to learn about my different patients that I'm going to be seeing and having in cases. but I want to be the best psych NP that I could be, and I want to help as many people and change their lives for the better. Either they're dealing with addiction, either they're dealing with depression, either they're dealing with voices, or either ADHD or OCD, anything that I could do to help my patient have a better life and be happier, I would love to do that. Well, thank you so much, and see you in Unity.